Gross margin seems to be the issue here, right?
Yes, I mean, UBS has kind of staked the future of its business on wealth management. And, when you see assets going out the door and the margins continuing to drop in that business, that has been a concern for some of the investors. But you did hear Ramadi have some optimism about 2017 and whether they'll see some of those assets come back in.
Michael, when you look at the business models of the various banks at the moment, UBS walked away from having a significant investment bank, yet the investment bank has done well this time. But when you compare what is happening with UBS with some of the Wall Street banks, let's say Goldman Sachs, are people concerned that it maybe doesn't have the right business model for the next phase?
Well, certainly for this quarter, it was definitely a different story than what you saw at the U.S. banks. It did better than the U.S. banks on the equity side, and people were pleasantly surprised by that. But on the fixed income side, as you mentioned, they're a lot smaller than they used to be, and they did disappoint on that front. They were down in fixed income trading, whereas all the U.S. banks were up pretty significantly. They attributed that to more of a business mix issue. But certainly it's a question if bond trading does come back in a big way. They've been kind of rewarded for getting out of that business. Does that trend reverse?
Michael Moore, tick by tick, with the uproar we see, whether it's Brexit, whether it's the new Trump America, whatever it is, do you see an adjustment in animal spirit or capital investment by banks into 2017? Has there been an amendment since November 8th? For that matter, has there been an amendment since June 23rd?
I think there is a swing in the investor optimism. You've seen that in the share price, and certainly a lot of the talk around banks has been more positive. But a lot of these banks over the last 2 years have laid out significant cost-cutting plans, and they aren't through those yet. So I don't think you haven't heard much in terms of banks kind of scrapping those plans or going back to more of the investment phase. They're still in those cost-cutting plans, and I think they'll see those through. Whether the next plans will be more about growth is the question, but that still might be a year out.
Michael, I look at this, and I guess there's earnings season and jobs. Do you see job reductions in European banking as we move to March 30th, March 31st?
I think you'll continue to see that trend. Yeah, Credit Suisse toward the end of last year laid out some more cuts. A number of the banks have talked about there is a secular move to smaller headcount as more on the retail side becomes digital. As you have some of these more secular trends, maybe the cyclical pressure will abate a little bit, but the secular pressure for lower headcount is still there.